to make a little video to talk about what the expectations are for tomorrow. That is Tuesday, March 24th. So again, what I'm working on, the skill we're trying to target is our ability to listen and access information. So can you listen to an information and then be able to extrapolate, take away from it the most important and key points? So what I'm asking you to do tomorrow is to listen to this podcast. You only have to listen to about 35 minutes of it out of 52, which isn't that bad. If you look below here, hold on one second. If you look below here, there is a transcription. So if you really don't feel like listening to it and you want to read it, that is there. So anyways, I'm going to start it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause it periodically and write down key points. So, and kind of articulate to you what I'm identifying as a key point, okay?
Those in favor of Matt signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Town meeting is about group decision making. The idea of town meeting is as old as human speech, as old as the gatherings around a fire to discuss and decide who should be the leader or how to plan a hunt or whether to build a wall around the village. It was then and still is the most successful formula ever invented for living in peace with the people around us. In Vermont, the tradition predates the American Revolution by decades.
It's been part of our tradition for centuries and really defines Vermont and, to some extent, the other New England states as well.
The Vermont Governor Jim.
So again, one of the key points that I get out of that is, oops, not that one, is that basically town meeting is old and it's been a part of Vermont since the beginning. So again, they really emphasized in that first part, like, this is something that's been going on around time. In fact, they argue to some extent, or they make the argument that town meeting is something that's existed, you know, since the dawning of civilization, which is kind of an interesting point, or at least its style.
Douglas.
It's the envy of the country. I remember when I was Secretary of State, I invited some of my colleagues to come and observe town meeting and to see the look on the faces of secretaries of state from the Midwest or beyond really was one of great interest, perhaps some puzzlement as well, to see if this direct democracy really works.
You learn, and you can amend, and you can adjust, and that's what's key.
Professor Frank Bryan says town meeting works because you can affect the agenda and the outcome.
Look, most Vermonters, or all Vermonters, if they want to participate in town meeting, can be a participant in the democratic process that 95% of Americans can only dream about. You can't do this in Pittsburgh and in Buffalo or San Francisco even. You can't do it. You can't be a legislator and amend from the floor and change policy in real time.
Frank Bryan teaches political science at the University of Vermont and is the leading authority on town meeting as a Vermont institution.
So again, Frank Bryan, who's in that video that you're going to watch today, really or on Monday, represents, you know, the researcher, the main guy when it comes to town meeting, and he notes that you can be included in the process. Oh. And that, as we talked about in the packet too, you can actually change, which the word is amend, articles or the discussion. So again, that's a lot of information. I already got 3 bullet points. Listening for less than 2 minutes.
His latest book on the subject is All Those in Favor, co-authored by Susan Clark.
I think when people come to Vermont, they sense that Vermont is special, and it's not just the trees and the mountains. There is a sense of community and a sense of togetherness that we have here. There's a fabric, a woven fabric, that when someone goes off the road into a snowbank, we stop and pull them out. That's how we are in Vermont. It's a culture. Town meeting is a culture, has created a culture. Just the way Colorado has a cowboy culture, we've got a town meeting culture.
So again, that's a pretty interesting point, right? Town meeting. And I just abbreviate. Oh, why'd you do that to me? Hold on. Creates a culture of caring. And again, that's one of those things too, you know, with like Vermont, you know, we are famous for that, right? You know, we have this stereotype of being nice to some extent, you know, and We might heckle you for driving off the road, but we'll help you. We'll help pull you out of the ditch.
And it's something that we need to nurture and recognize and feed. Otherwise, it will go away.
Part of the reason town meeting continues to be a force in Vermont's public life is the unique role of moderator. In West Windsor, they're pretty happy with the way Matt Birmingham
So hopefully you know what a moderator is at this point.
Those in favor of Matt signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Matt,
Who said that? I know who said that. Good chance of getting recognized for the rest of the day.
Moderators tend to be perennials if they can demonstrate fairness, a sense of humor, and the ability to keep debates on track.
The legal voters of the town of Middlebury and the county of Addison.
When Jim Douglas was elected governor, he had been Middlebury's moderator for more than a decade. He still is.
People of Middlebury are very respectful. They're cordial. They're polite. They listen to each other and make decisions in a very thoughtful way.
You're describing the virtue of civility.
I am, and I know from talking with my colleagues that's not the case everywhere. It's far more spirited in some other communities, but traditions vary, and I'm very pleased that Middlebury is relatively peaceful compared to other communities.
One of those other communities is Killington, where Red Glaze led his first town meeting in 1961. He says the occasion gives people a chance to vent.
They can go to a selectmen's meeting forever, but they can't get the results they might get at the annual town meeting. It's a controversial day. People are there to bring up questions and to make noise.
So that's a kind of interesting point. You know, he says it's a controversial day. And they're there to make noise, to complain, essentially, right? It's a one place where you can kind of get a sense of, or you have your voice heard and really have a lot of people, a captive audience.
If they don't, they might as well go stay home in the closet. It's the Democratic way. Get up there and say what you think. Whether anybody believes you or cares, that's their problem. But it gives you a chance, right, an individual, to expound on whatever bothering you. And there are issues that you wouldn't dream of that come up sometimes.
What has come up before at Killington's town meeting is the controversial notion that the town ought to secede from Vermont over high taxes and join New Hampshire, which has low taxes. That set off some verbal fireworks.
This is a scam. I'm tired of this town. I'm tired of this town. Goodbye and don't come back. Who made you president of this town?
I want you to know that you'll be voting on moving the question.
Everybody vote no.
Everybody, listen.
The calmest voice in all that was Red Glaze's.
I don't.
So anyway, again, I'm looking at what I'm trying to do is to develop an understanding of what town meeting is like. So hopefully by watching the video that you're supposed to watch on Monday and listening to this on Tuesday, you'll get a sense of what town meeting is all about. And so what I'm really looking for you to do is to build a knowledge of town meeting through different forms of observation. I mean, the reality is that being able to process information and identify important points is a key skill regardless of whatever you do in life. So hopefully that helped you a little bit, gave you a little bit of a sense of what the expectations are. And again, if you have any problems, if you have any concerns, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I'm around, man. All right, talk to you guys later.